Hey guys! So for today's video, I am finally testing out the Tati Beauty Blendiful. I have been wanting to test this out since the minute it showed up on my doorstep, but with everything going on in my life for the past couple months, I just never got a chance to. But I'm finally trying it out for you guys here on camera. You have no idea, Don't move in your chair, Kathleen. Stay still. I have been tempted many times to use this off camera just to test it out, but I'm like, no. Try it with your friends. So that is what I'm doing with you guys today. We're gonna be testing this out. So I'm sure you guys already know this has been out for a hot minute, but this is the Tati Beauty Blendiful, and you get one Blendiful and a baby Blendiful in this little pouch. And on the back of the pouch, it just has the cleaning instructions. So it says you can machine wash and dry in a little delicate laundry bag, or you can gently hand wash this. That is what I'm gonna be doing at the end of this video today. I'm gonna hand wash it to see how it washes, because I am not gonna machine wash this. But I'm really excited, so let's open it. So, oh, wow. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be. It also feels really soft. Feels nice on the face. And then this is what the baby Blendiful looks like. It's significantly smaller. And she says that she made the baby Blendiful to kind of use for touch-ups. So if you plan on wearing your makeup for a long time, you can throw this in your purse and then touch up throughout the day. So that's cute. But for the majority of this video, of course, I'm gonna be using the Blendiful, and I am gonna be using both sides in this video. I haven't seen many people's tutorials on this product, but I did watch Tati's video, and I noticed in her video she used one side for all the powders and then the other side for all the liquids, and I was like, that is very smart. Because when I first saw this product, I'm like, wait, you're not gonna put like liquids on top of powders, are you? That's gonna create a crazy goopy mess on your Blendiful, but she's smart. The best way to probably use this is creams on one side, powders on the other. The only thing is that this can get in the way of that. I don't really ever picture myself using this like this anyway. I would probably always hold it, but when I go to use liquids on this side, like, well, no, you know what? I don't think this is gonna get in my way at all. Let's try this already. So usually when it comes to makeup brushes and beauty blenders, I always wash it before I use it, but for today's video, I'm just gonna dive right in. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with primer. And I'm gonna use the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer because Tati used it in her video, so I wanna use it today. And this is actually a primer I really enjoy. And she mentioned that the Blendiful is actually perfect for this primer, so I cannot wait to use it. The Blendiful actually helps you not apply too much of this product, which I feel like is a big struggle people have with this primer actually. If you apply too much, it doesn't sit well on the skin, and it actually makes foundation look weird. Wait, am I an idiot? You can go like this. I'm so silly. So in other words, this is never gonna get in your way. I'm just a fool. For foundation, I'm gonna use my ZOEVA Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. And I'm gonna pump that on the back of my hand. I'm gonna do 2 pumps. And I'm gonna take the Blendiful. I don't know if I should use it directly on top of where I just used the primer, but I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna swipe it on my face and then pat it in. Tati mentioned that there really is no right or wrong way to apply foundation with this product, but she mentioned her favorite way was to kind of swipe first and then pounce it in. So you get that coverage initially, and then you use the patting motion to help blend the foundation into the skin. And wow, this actually does give you incredible coverage. I usually use 2 full pumps of this ZOEVA foundation on my face, but I have so much foundation still on the back of my hand, and I've done already this entire situation. This shape is really awesome to help you get right up in the crevice of your nose and hit every corner. Gosh, this gives you so much coverage. Like, you can swipe on your face for days. I definitely feel like your foundation sinks into your beauty blender a lot more than it sinks into this. Yeah, like I feel like I applied too much there on my cheek. And look at this. I still have so much on my hand. Another reason I like this shape, I know I just said that it helps get in the crevice of the nose, but it also helps you apply your foundation around your brows, because I always feel like I forget to apply foundation right here above my brows, since I always do my brows first. But since the shape of this is so easily manipulated, you can get all up in these areas. Now I'm going in with concealer. I'm gonna use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer, and I'm also gonna use this as like an eyeshadow primer. I'm not doing my eyeshadow or anything today on camera, but you know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the same side I've been using, like directly on the foundation. Like I'm blending it out directly on top of the foundation. I am making sure when I'm blending out my concealer or blending out any product that I'm not blending it with the edge of the Blendiful, because that's where the seam is and I don't want to like create any lines or like scratch my face or anything like that. Again, I know I keep mentioning the shape, but it's so nice to get right up in this area right here. I get so much darkness right here. I mean, you can still see it, how much blue I have here. It's something I definitely struggle with all the time. And sometimes I feel like my brushes can't get up in here, but I also don't love using my beauty blender underneath my eyes because, as you know, the beauty blender soaks up so much product. So I always use a brush. But this gives you really nice coverage and it's a flexible tool. Okay, now I'm gonna flip over to the other side because I'm gonna use some powder and I'm gonna set my under eyes. I'm gonna take my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I'm gonna dip it directly into this, take some off on the back of my hand and gently press that into the skin. And you gotta be quick so you don't set your creases, which I kind of did a little bit, but that's fine. This Blendiful just really pushes the product into the skin so nicely. Like I know that this powder is naturally really great and makes your skin look really airbrushed and beautiful, but this just presses the powder into the skin so nicely. I really like that for face powder. Okay, so I'm extremely tempted to continue to set my face, but I'm gonna try to keep, even though I have powder here already. I got carried away. But I really want to test the Blendiful out with both cream and powder products. So I want to do all the cream ones first to give this a fair shot, you know? I want to be fair. So we're going to go back over to the cream side now. And I'm going to take a little bit of the Make Makeup. What? Milk Makeup. Jesus. The cream bronzer in the shade Baked. That's what I sound like I am right now because I cannot freaking form a sentence. So I'm going to rub this on the back of my hand. And then with the Blendiful, I'm just going to like blend it in a little bit so that there are no harsh lines. And then I'm going to start with my forehead. Okay, I didn't apply enough. I know the best way to bronze and to contour with this is to form it into a little taco, like a little Blendiful taco like Tati says. And so that's what I'm gonna do so I can chisel out the cheeks a bit. I'm going to drag it across the entire Blendiful pretty much. And then I'm gonna bounce that in. What do you think? I think that looks good. That took like absolutely no effort at all. And boom, bronzed. So I am gonna intensify that with the powder bronzer in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to first drag some of that onto my neck. And then I'm gonna do the cream blush. So what I'm gonna do for my cream blush, because honestly, I have been putting all my cream products right here in this area. Since blush tends to be like an actual color, I'm gonna move over and use this side of the Blendiful. So I'm gonna take my Flower Beauty Blush Balm Liquid Blush in the shade Pinched. I'm actually gonna rub that in with my finger a little bit. And now I'm gonna take the Blendiful, this little side right here, and I'm going to dip it into my blush and apply it. Actually, this blush might be too light for me at the moment. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna grab another one. Okay, I'm gonna use my Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Beam. I want something a little bit brighter. I mean, you can kind of see it, but I want something more intense. Okay, so I think this is looking a little bit funky on my skin because I applied the powder underneath this blush. Like in this area, I do have powder. So I feel like it's not applying as juicy or as pigmented as it normally would be because it's not sticking to my skin. It's like sitting on top of powder. Does that make sense? Let's see, I'm gonna add a little bit more. I think the key to applying blush is to make sure you're grabbing it correctly so that it's like a nice little round area, because if not, it will just look like you have blush like all over your cheek, which is what was kind of happening to me for a second there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this little clean side of the Blendiful right here, and I'm just gonna clean around my blush. So I feel like I brought it in too far. Okay, so I didn't grab a cream highlight to use. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a powder one. But really quickly, I'm gonna go back to my powder side and I'm gonna apply some more bronzer and some more blush. So for bronzer, I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Shady Biz bronzer. I'm gonna do the little taco and just press it right into this product. And that looks a little bit crazy, so I'm going to pounce some of that on my hand and then go in. And the little fibers on this Blendiful really help you move the product around and it helps you blend. I mean, it's called the Blendiful. But in my opinion, it's easier to blend out than using a beauty blender. And in my opinion, it's still easy to blend out with a beauty blender. So the fact that this feels like a little bit easier to work with is crazy to me. I think it's like the little hairs on this. It's just so easy to blend. Guys, are you proud of me? I usually iron my bangs to get this like crisp, straight line situation whenever I do my hair like this. I always do low ponies. But I was like, girl, you cannot iron those bangs. They are burnt to crisp. You cannot iron your bangs on your curly girl journey. So I gelled them. Are you proud of me? Who's using heat? Cause it ain't me. While I'm still on the powder side, I am gonna flip it over like this and I'm gonna use this side to clean up my contour a little bit. I don't usually bake, but I do like to clean up my contour. But for the sake of this video, I am gonna apply a little bit more than I normally do just so you can really see it. So I'm gonna get all up in this. Okay, whoa, too far. I'm gonna take some of that on the back of my hand. I'm gonna stamp that right under my contour. The fact that this Blendiful is so long, it helps you get your entire face without having to drag it without having to drag it across your face and disrupting your foundation underneath. So I'm just gonna take any random brush and dust that off. Okay, now we are nice and chiseled. I'm gonna stay on the powder side. I'm going to dip this into my blush. I'm a little bit nervous because I feel like this is great for liquid blush, cream blush, all that good stuff, but for powder, I don't know. I usually like my bronzer to look nice and concentrated, but I like a diffused blush look. So I'm gonna take this little corner right here, it's nice and clean, and I'm gonna dip it into my Warm Soul blush by MAC, and I'm gonna rub it in here, put some of that on the back of my hand, and then go in. I can't tell if it applied just like my brush because I had blush underneath this already. So this might have been pointless, but I will say I do see the glitter more when I use the Blendiful versus if I use a brush. I feel like when you dip your brush into Warm Soul, the glitter kind of like falls and dusts away versus when you apply with this and you have it like all concentrated right here and then you're putting like the glitter like right onto your face. Does that make sense? So I don't know if I would use the Blendiful for my powder blushes just because I like a super soft diffused look. Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight my face and I'm gonna use this little section right here where there is no product. I'm gonna go into my Jouer Molten Glow highlight, and this highlight is pretty intense on its own. So I can just imagine with this thing. Whoa. A major thing I'm noticing with the Blendiful is that it applies product very heavily. Like it just directly applies it on your face because not a lot of the product is getting soaked up into this, which is awesome, but it can be too much for some people. Like immediately when I applied this highlight, I was like, whoa, 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 that is a little bit too intense. But the great thing about this is because of these little hairs, it is so easy to blend out. So if I feel like I applied too much highlight, all I have to do is really just blend it with the little fibers on this thing. I'm going to apply my setting spray. And then really quickly off camera, I'm gonna throw on some mascara and my lip, and then I will be right back. Okay guys, so I'm officially done with my makeup and this is what it looks like. Please ignore the little scratch right here. I had some glitter that fell from my eye, and when I went to wipe it away, it got messier, so I ended up like rubbing it hard and now I have like a little red mark. Ignore that. But honestly, I think my face makeup looks great. And honestly, that's without me adding a hydrating primer underneath all of this. Usually I have to have a very dewy, hydrating something like a moisturizer or something before going in with this. And I accidentally didn't apply that first and I still feel like my makeup went on really nicely. I feel like the Blendiful applied my foundation beautifully, my concealer really nicely. I love the shape of this. It's so easy to get in these little corners. It applied all of my cream products beautifully, all of my powder products beautifully. I love how it applied my bronzer. I love this shape. It's so easy to use with your bronzer. I would say the only thing that kind of threw me off was applying powder blush with this, because I'm just such a creature of habit, and I don't really mess around with my blush brushes that often. Like, this is my favorite blush brush and I rarely use something else, but even then, I mean, it applied it fine. It's just not my preferred way of applying blush, but everything else, even like cream blush, applied so nicely with this. And I feel like it's so easy to use because you can use cream products on one side and powder products on the other, and then you never have this weird overlap of both products and finishes and textures. Honestly, I cannot complain. I feel like my face makeup looks great. This is so ideal to travel with. Can you imagine? I would not need any face brushes when using this. This is the perfect thing to take when you are very limited on space and you're traveling. Let's say you're doing like a weekend trip and you're taking a tiny little bag and you cannot pack that many brushes. You can just throw this in and do your entire face with this guy. I really enjoyed this. I honestly really did. It's super soft. It got the job done and my face looks airbrushed. Like, everything looks flawless. I got a lot of coverage. Now, does it wash as well as my beauty blender? We will find out. I'm gonna quickly wash this. I'm gonna take you with me to my sink and I'm gonna wash this with my Beauty Blender solid soap. I use that to wash everything, beauty blenders, brushes, you name it. So I'm gonna gently wash that with my fingers and then I'm gonna leave it to dry, and then I'll see what it looks like tomorrow after I've washed it and dried it. But honestly, so far so good. And also, as for the baby blender, this probably isn't something that I'm gonna use that often because I rarely touch up throughout the day, and I don't mean that in a I rarely touch up throughout the day. My makeup lasts forever. I'm flawless. But it's just, I don't really get oily. I wish I did. Oily skin just ages better. But I don't really get oily throughout the day, so I don't feel like I'm gonna need this to touch up. But it is something that I'm gonna keep in my bag because, you know, you never know. You never know. It gets really hot in Miami. Without further ado, let's wash this bad boy. But anyway guys, that completes this video. These are all of my thoughts on the Blendiful, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hey guys, so in today's video, se me salió la cubana. On the back it has the cleaning instructions, which on the back it has the cleaning I'm gonna take. On the back it has the cleaning, why can't I say that?